Who's your mama? Mountain Mama. I'm Melanie Kosan, and I'm host of the Who's Your Mama podcast show and founder and CEO of Mountain Mama LLC. I've spent the last several years in the CBD industry building an empire, and now I'm ready to share everything you need to know about CBD, interviewing leading experts and bringing you reliable information that can be trusted. Watch the show on my YouTube channel, Mountain Mama Montana. You can find us on Facebook at The Mountain Mama, and Instagram is Stillwater Hemp. Thanks for listening. Hello, welcome to the Who's Your Mama podcast. I'm Melanie Kosan, CEO of Mountain Mama LLC. And I'm here today with Bryan Bennett from Mountain Meadow CBD. Introduce yourself, Bryan.
Hey, everyone. Bryan Bennett with Mountain Meadow CBD here. I am a farmer. I grow some hemp. I also am on the production side. I create products from the organic hemp that I grow. And I, in turn, do a little bit of business with Melanie here with her products. And I'm excited to chat with y'all today.
So tell us a little bit about your background, Bryan, and how you got into this industry.
All right, cool. So I've been growing cannabis and hemp for the last 10 years. I'm originally from Missoula, Montana, but me and a few buddies saved some bucks back in the day, and we bought a property in Santa Cruz, California, up in the mountains. And that's when my cultivation career really started. So I was doing the whole medicinal scene in California before it went recreational. I was bought out of my partnership agreement with that, and I decided to come home and start growing back here in Montana. So I've been in the game for about 10 years. When I saw that the hemp industry was about to explode with the whole CBD scene, I saw my opportunity and bought 16 acres, and we started growing organic hemp up in Alberton here in Montana. It's just a small town outside of Missoula. I'm really interested in other aspects of the hemp plant as well. For instance, livestock feed, the hempcrete houses that are being built, the hemp batteries that are being made right now that are outlasting the lithium batteries. You know, the hemp plant itself has so many properties. It's so valuable for the entire world in general. So essentially, I like to help people with natural medicine. And if they can get off their prescriptions or stay away from the pharmaceuticals as much as possible through our natural medicine, I think that's the most important part of our industry.
You mentioned Alberton. I love Alberton. Every time we drive over to Spokane, I always have to stop in Alberton and go to the bookstore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the classic bookstore.
I always have to go to every time I'm planning a trip. I'm like, oh, what do I need? I need something. I know I need something. I love that bookstore.
Yeah, Alberton's a fun little town.
Yeah, and my son likes to skate in that little skate park.
Yeah, totally.
You had, oh shoot, you mentioned something that I wanted to go back to. So there was somebody in my store a couple days ago, and we were discussing all kinds of things that can be made out of hemp besides CBD or the other cannabinoids. What are some things besides you talked a little bit about livestock feed. What else are we using hemp for? Or should we be using hemp for?
So I want to be a little bit goofy and to say hemp's going to save the world, because it has so many uses. So there's so many different things to be done with the hemp plant. For instance, if you want to grow a fiber crop, a crop that has little to no CBD or medicinal value, but has incredible potential in the textile and industrial communities, it's really cool because you essentially can get 3 different products from the same plant, right? You harvest the top of the plant, which gives you the seeds, which is a superfood, which goes into smoothies. I mean, you can just buy hemp seeds on the shelf. Also, oil is pressed out of the seeds, and you could buy hemp oil to cook with and different things like that. The next part is the middle of the plant that will be made into the long fiber material that can be made into ropes. People are doing really cool things, mixing it with wool right now. There's a company in eastern Montana. They're getting wildflower seeds, wild plant seeds. They're mixing it in with the wool and the hemp, and they're laying it down in erosion areas. And it allows all the plants to come back without further erosion happening. I mean, it really is endless what the plant can do for us. I mentioned a little bit about the hempcrete houses. Mm-hmm. With a little bit of hemp, lye, and water, you can create a very strong substance that's molded into bricks. And then, just like Legos, they create houses out of this. And with how high the lumber prices are right now, I did a little bit of research, and you could build yourself a hempcrete house for just slightly more than what lumber costs right now, but it is much cheaper than building with stone. So then you have yourself a fireproof house with a much higher insulation rating, and it's essentially stronger pound for pound than steel is.
Wow.
I mentioned the livestock feed. A lot of people are looking for fillers for animal food like that. And with all the medicinal values and how easily the hemp plant is digested through the larger animals, people are seeking out biomass and leftover hemp for that. See, so I spend a lot of time on the wholesale CBD side of things. I have clients internationally that buy CBD from me. So that being said, I only got into this through trying to sell my own CBD. I was a farmer with a product that needed to sell, and I didn't know who to give it to. This is before I actually started creating my own tinctures and salves and all of that. So I was looking for people that wanted to buy wholesale kilos of, broad spectrum CBD and isolate and these things. And I realized there's a much, much bigger market out here. And the international CBD business and hemp business in general is exploding, and I see it continuing along this path for a long time as people get more innovative with the plant.
Right. So you're mainly on the wholesale side, and you're selling your kilos of your various CBD extracts, the broad spec. I imagine you have some full spectrum. You're doing isolates. Are you guys processing your own products, or are you sending it to a lab?
Okay, so we send the initial biomass straight from the field to a lab that does the extraction. Big Sky Scientifics here in Montana, they offer a great service. We get back the pure crystallized form of CBD, and then from there we break it down into products. I create the various strengths of CBD oils, one intended specifically for pets, CBD salve. I do a CBD chapstick, bath bombs. What else do we do? We do a variety of things. CBD is really easy to work with. It can be blended right into most people's favorite healthcare products, whether it's lotions, shampoos, various things you want to cook with. It doesn't matter. CBD is great on the inside and the outside. And like I said, it's very easy to work with.
Yeah. I find it very interesting that we have this endocannabinoid system, and nobody knows about it. Mm-hmm. And it's not taught in medical school or anything. And even today, the endocannabinoid system is the master system that controls all the other systems, and they still teach that the central nervous system does all of that.
And let me add to that for a second, because I think the endocannabinoid system is so cool. I'm not going to get all philosophical or religious or anything, but Not just humans, but all animals have the endocannabinoid system, and the only reason that we would be engineered to have that is so that we can reap the benefits of the hemp and cannabis plant.
Right.
And so if through evolution or the creator, either way, like made us like this, it was specifically for us to reap the benefits of this plant. And I feel like there's no denying that. If we didn't have that system, it simply wouldn't have an effect on us. And I think that there's something to be learned from that. There is definitely like a larger force in one way or another saying it's okay to use this plant. This plant is a gift. It's very beneficial. It's here for the world to use. And like I said, not just humans either, but there's a reason why, animals can get stoned or animals can reap the benefits of CBD, and the same as like insects and different things like that. It's a beautiful thing that we have that inside of our bodies that allows us to take advantage of this plant.
Yeah, and we can utilize the phytocannabinoids that we're getting. I didn't know that we actually create our own cannabinoids within our bodies, but through the what am I trying to say? Perhaps over processing of the foods we eat, or the nutrients that the food, when the food is growing and the nutrients are gleaned out of the ground, there's just not as many of them in the ground anymore. Yeah. And so our food is a lot more empty these days than, say, 40, 50 years ago, or even a couple of 100 years ago, when we used to grow and produce our own food.
Yeah, before we threw fertilizers on everything instead of just taking care of the soil.
Yeah. So our bodies can't operate at its full capacity to be able to utilize those things, and so we're supplementing with the phytocannabinoids, and to be able to use those phytocannabinoids to sort of reset our bodies so that we can sleep well, so that we can handle anxiety, and the fact that the sleep anxiety cycle is such a vicious cycle, and they feed off of each other and they make each other worse. But you can just use your phytocannabinoids and reset those things.
Yeah, I think we all have the power within ourselves to heal whatever ails us. It's just a matter of working with nature and working with yourself instead of against it. That's going to create these positive results. And unfortunately, a lot of the answers the professional community gives us these days on how to handle stress or how to handle sickness is that the answers are not the healthiest for us.
Right. There's a lot of side effects from those things that are just not really worth.
No.
What the side effects just aren't worth it. So let's talk a little bit about the CBD specifically, and what kinds of benefits people are seeing by using the CBD.
You said what kind of benefits people are seeing?
Yep.
Okay. So being a part of this whole industry for so long, there's always the obvious benefits of cannabis and hemp, right? In general, very obvious, quick results. In that sense, growing up, you're told, oh, it'll help you relax. It'll, make things funnier. It has the ability to cure cancer, so on and so forth. In that sense, these things are all true. There's so many benefits to this plant and CBD. In general, I feel like I'm selling snake oil, right? This is the modern snake oil. You take it for this, take it for that. Put a dropper on your tongue, rub some on your skin. It's like the modern day snake oil, but it really is the the results are there.
Mm-hmm.
To see for yourself, people are really living better quality lives because of this stuff. Very, very sick people that are bedridden are able to get up and move and be happy and functionable because of CBD. I have 6 or 7 people that I make custom CBD oils for. Very strong stuff, like 10,000 milligram strong. Right. And some of them are for children, and some of them are for older people. But it really changes people's quality of life. People that are really, really sick or in pain, are mentally stressed out. Stress is the biggest killer in the world. People don't realize the power stress has on your body and mind. Mm-hmm. It ages you. It breaks you down. It creates ailments that wouldn't have been caused if the stress factors weren't there in the first place. So, whether people are on their deathbed, whether they broke their leg, whether they just need to take the edge off, whether they can't sleep at night, CBD is really, really helping people. And you see that for yourself too, through Absolutely. Your brand. Yep. I'm sure you get testimonials. My favorite part of this business is when somebody gets a hold of me and they say, "Oh, wow, I was able to sleep for the first time in, however long, or I was able to go outside and enjoy the air today." Those kind of testimonials are the biggest peaks for me in this business.
Yeah, that's got to be my favorite part also, is when somebody will walk into my store and say, "I've got to have some more of that stuff, because these are all the great things that that I'm able to do now that I wasn't able to do before." And just incredible testimonials. And then you end up creating a bond with those people, and it's just really, really wonderful.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about a broad spectrum versus a full spectrum, isolate, distillate, first tell us the difference between an isolate and a distillate or an extract.
All right, cool. Well, there's a few different things to go over here. So essentially there's isolate, there's broad spectrum, there's full spectrum. And then a distillate really refers to its consistency. And there are even variations within that. There's distillate that comes in sort of a harder form. Anything with over 60% CBD, it's really hard for it not to crystallize, right? So there is some hard distillates and some like real viscous distillates, like you see going into vape pens and stuff that has maybe the consistency of maple syrup, running but smooth. But essentially the difference between isolate, broad spec, and full spec is an isolate only contains one cannabinoid, whether that's CBD, THC, CBG, there's so many different cannabinoids right there. You can isolate any one of those cannabinoids and that's considered isolate, right? A broad spectrum is considered a product that has multiple cannabinoids in it. Most of the time, it does not contain THC. Most of the broad spectrum products on the market do not contain THC. But for instance, my broad spectrum product is it's CBD, CBN, and CBG, and I find that's a really nice mixture for overall effects from the product. And then full spec would be considered something that has all the cannabinoids in it. A very basic extraction, but it is just the raw full plant medicine, contains all the benefits.
So while you were talking about your broad spec, I figured I might as well grab some of your broad spec and show what we've got here. It's kind of it's sort of powdery. It's a little sticky, and it's very, very pure. We've been using this. How long have I been working with you? A couple of years now?
Yeah, a couple of years, totally. And when we get that, it comes in a giant crystal. It's just the purified crystal form. And then we have to have it ground up into that powder. Obviously, in that huge crystal block, it would be extremely difficult to work with. You'd be at it like with a chisel and hammer trying to, like this with the powder. It's very fluffy. It's very easy to weigh out and use like this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like it.
It's very easy to work with. I remember back in the day when I first started. Sorry, I'm walking away from my microphone.
Mhm.
I remember back in the day when I first started using CBD, working with CBD. I used to get it from a company in San Diego that would bring it in from the UK,
Oh
and
man.
their big sales pitch was that they had the most pure full spectrum extract on the market, and it was like 26% pure.
Oh
and
man.
and now, like, this is it's 97.8. I think it's close to
Yeah,
98.
yeah. It's very, very pure. It's like you said,
Yeah.
I think it's 97% CBD, and then
Mhm.
with CBN and CBG in there, it
Mhm.
makes it like 98.5 or something percent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's
And I'm sure they were charging you an arm and a leg for it.
I can't even think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have no words for how different the market is now for buying bulk cannabinoids than it
Mhm.
was 5 years ago.
Oh
It
yeah,
blows my mind.
the price differences is crazy.
The price difference is absolutely crazy. And now we have developed capabilities of, as you were talking about, isolating different cannabinoids,
Mhm.
depending on what you're looking for. I have here your CBG isolate.
Okay.
It is reminiscent of that first CBD that I used to use, because it would come and it was real hard. And it's a whole different process to work with this kind of an extract. So tell us a little bit about CBG and why we like CBG. What are we using it for, and what are we getting benefits for?
All right. So when it comes down to it, there's new cannabinoids being found every year inside the hemp and cannabis plant, right? And all the different cannabinoids, the CBD, the CBG, CBN, the list goes on and on and on. They all have a little bit different properties, right? And depending on what ails you, you're going to want maybe a little bit more of something. For instance, right now, for people having a hard time sleeping, CBN is the big thing. I'm finding people are using the CBG for being alert and awake, and for not mental health but mental awareness.
Mhm.
I'm finding people are using it for appetite. I'm finding people are also using it like heavy CBG pain salves for eczema and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So there's a couple of the benefits of the CBG, and they also, even though they're different, they all kind of are similar in a way as well. You know, they're all stress reducers. They're all
Mhm.
anti-inflammatory. They're all appetite inducing. The only thing is some of them have higher properties in one sense than the other ones do.
Yeah.
In regards to a particular effect. Mm-hmm.
I always use my son as a lab rat.
Mm-hmm.
And we have both been taking the CBGs combined with the CBD for focus and mental clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does make a difference. I can tell. I finally ended up putting a bottle of it next to my computer over there, because I wouldn't always remember to take it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell which days I wasn't taking it, and I could tell which days he doesn't take his. And I'll say,
Mm-hmm.
"Did you take your CBG?" And he'll be like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You're lying. Go take it." So I, in my own life, have been seeing the effects of the CBGs, and I am just finally putting it online today.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it made for I don't even know how long, but so here is your isolated CBN. It's also another consistency.
Mm-hmm.
It's different to work with than the either of the other two.
And see, that would be considered a distillate right there.
Yeah, and I think it's hilarious. When I first got these, I put pictures on my Facebook page and said, I asked for, told people to guess what they thought it was. And this one was, the predominant answer was honey. Every single person was like, that's honey. And I'm like, nope, it's not honey. Try again. So talk to us a little bit about the CBN and where it comes from, and again, what we are using it for.
All right. So the CBN, there's a big craze for it right now. People really just started extracting it about 2 years ago, but whenever something is fresh on the market, it's extremely expensive, and it makes it hard to put in consumer products because people already pay so much for their CBD. They don't need to be hit with another $100 on top of their product. So right now, CBN, I'm sorry, is the big thing is helping people with sleep, and people that like really need to relax. They'll also take a CBN tincture. I create a couple different CBN positive oils for a couple of friends of mine with anxiety and what's it called when you can't sleep at night? You're just sitting there rolling. Insomnia. Yeah. And insomnia, and it works really well for that. I would recommend trying these natural options before you go get a prescription. CBD doesn't have to be expensive. What I'm finding the biggest issue for the consumer right now is that they're undereducated and they're being taken advantage of by these larger CBD companies.
Right.
Because like I said earlier, it is a snake oil. People do feel the benefits of it, but they find themselves locked into a product they know works. They're paying $100, $150, $200 for some. It's not feasible for them to continue taking that, right?
Right.
I feel like what I did around here was offer a superior quality product at a substantially reduced price rate, and it does a couple of things. It helps the consumer's pocketbook, because if your products don't cost as much to make, you don't have to charge as much to sell them. And also, I like to educate people. Is the second thing. I really like to tell people, I'll sell you this product for 1/3 of the price that you're paying for it at the store. Here's my website. Read some of the literature on my website, and just sort of become familiar with what's actually going on here, because people really do work off of recommendations. Not everybody is Googling what the proper way to treat these symptoms that they're trying to cure are, and and there you're just like stuck in a loop. You don't know what the right thing to do is. You're spending too much, and I like to give people organic quality medicine at a reasonable price that they can be happy with.
Part of the reason why I love working with your company is because we are on the exact same page. Education has been at the forefront of what I do for 4 years now. The part of the purpose of the podcast is education. Because you're right, so many people are paying so much money, and you probably have found this in your business as well. I have a lot of people who I visit with who have said, well, I've tried CBD and it didn't work. And I'll say, well, can I ask you a couple of questions? How much were you taking, and where did you buy it? I've seen gummies, CBD gummies on Amazon that say that there's 2 million milligrams of CBD in these gummies. And I'm looking at the bottle that is in the picture, and I'm thinking 2 million milligrams wouldn't fit in that bottle by itself, let alone whether or not.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And their ingredients are hemp seed oil. And I say hemp seed oil is cooking oil. Yeah, it is not CBD.
Yeah, what a scam.
Right. And it's just, it really gives people like us a bad name.
Mhm.
And I've always found that if I can just, I always carry around these smaller dropper bottles with me and say, just try this for a couple days. So it has about 3 days worth of CBD in it. Try it for a couple days and see what you think. 99% of the time, they come back and say, this is very different than what I was taking before. And I notice I'm benefiting. I'm feeling better. I'm sleeping better. I don't feel as stressed out. My knee doesn't hurt as bad, whatever. And it's because they either weren't taking enough or they were getting some kind of garbage that somebody sold them knowing that it wasn't going to help them.
And there are products out there, for instance, like 50 milligram products, 100 milligram dropper bottles. That really isn't very much CBD. So if you get yourself a CBD oil and the bottle only contains 100 milligrams, even 500 milligrams, that's not a whole lot of CBD going through your body to like really make a difference. You want at least a 1,000 milligram for starters, and if you have effects that are a little bit more severe, that you need a little bit more of the edge taken off, get yourself a 3,000 or a 5,000 milligram product. That's something that's really going to work for you. But yeah, if you have something that's 100, 200 milligrams, you're not going to really feel the effects of it, and you're going to think CBD is a scam.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have my products start at 1,200, but I also use 2-ounce bottles. Most of the industry I have found is using a 1-ounce bottle.
Yep.
I usually advise my customers to pay attention to how many milligrams per milliliter they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
That I did actually find a study the other day where they were doing clinical and preclinical trials with CBD and its effects on anxiety. And so far, and they were very hesitant to really say a lot of good things about it, but I was able to glean that 25 milligrams a day seems to be what they had the most success with. Now, when I read that, I thought, well, of course, because my 1,500 delivers 25 milligrams per milliliter, and that is my top seller by at least twice as much, twice as many units. And almost all of those people are using it for anxiety or, sleeplessness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, well, your studies are just kind of confirming what we already know. And they always make us say, well, this evidence is anecdotal. Like anecdotal doesn't matter. You said something earlier about how people refer their friends. And in my opinion, I have never seen a consumer go online and read a study to decide what they're going to buy. They always refer, if a friend says, I'm using this and it's wonderful and you should try it, that always has so much more effect on them as a consumer than reading a study.
100% it does. Yeah, it means a lot when somebody you trust tells you to try a product. You just know it's going to work. I feel like that's better. The referral marketing is better than any kind of advertisement or TV commercial that you could have out there. Absolutely.
I mean, we can't advertise on Google or Facebook still. But nonetheless, we have growing successful businesses, and it's literally because of word of mouth.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's fabulous that our customers trust us enough to be able to tell their friends and family, or buy them something and send it, see how they like it or whatever. I think that's just fantastic.
And what a positive business to be in. There's like this whole industry is a positive movement. There's not negativity. There's lots of happiness. There's lots of good results. There's so many people that we can help with this that still haven't tried CBD. I'm excited to see how this all plays out in the next 5 years. I think that we're going to help a lot of people, and I hope that we can keep the the price is coming down slowly. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's only 25% of the hemp being grown in the United States that there was 2 years ago. So that does have a big effect on the cost of wholesale and raw goods. The cost of things have gone up substantially this year, but what I'm seeing is the retail cost hasn't necessarily gone up because these large companies, their profit markup is already so much. It's like, they can
absorb it.
Yeah, you can just absorb it, but we can offer them something different. We can offer a superior quality product that's not going to hit their pocketbook. I'd recommend everyone go look at the Mountain Mama website and see what she has to offer. My products are very basic and to the point. Mountain Mama's products are a bit more sophisticated than mine. I'll go ahead and say it. So
thank you.
You betcha. Yeah, I'm really happy that we were able to meet and be a part of this, and that we can offer Montana grown CBD through your Montana owned company.
I love focusing on Montana made, and all of us Montanans are very, very proud of our Montana made products. Tell us how people can get a hold of you.
All right. So if you're interested in some CBD, go ahead and check out mountainmeadowcbd.com. We also have an Instagram. I'm not super duper active on there. I got lots of other stuff to do. I'm kind of a guy with 5 jobs, but check us out on there. And I'm happy to do custom orders. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you'd like to find me, my name's Bryan Bennett, and ask me whatever you like.
Well, Bryan, I appreciate you very much for coming on to the program, and I look forward to having more conversations in the future, and many blessings in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Many blessings. It was a pleasure to talk with you, and congratulations on opening this platform up. I think talks like this are going to really inform the consumer to a higher level than they have been before.
All right. So I guess I will sign off. And I think this was a great interview. I thank you for being on it.
Yep.
And when we get into some more other kinds of isolated cannabinoids, I think we should probably talk about those some more. So
yeah, we'll have another juicy conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
have a good day. Talk to you later. While we may use medical terms or describe symptoms in these discussions, we make absolutely no medical claims regarding CBD. While there have been many studies by universities and medical departments across the country and around the world, the efficacy of these products has not been confirmed by FDA-approved research. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. These products should not be used if you are pregnant or nursing. Please subscribe to my podcast and share it with your friends. Thank you for listening.